Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
Hey, Larson.
Yeah, Steve.
Let's answer some questions. What do you say?
Sure.
First up, from Guadalupe Hernandez Jr. With the return of Bray now official, who else would y'all like to see come back to WWE, and how would y'all orchestrate their return? What's a name you'd like to see return? To Sid. Okay, wow. He's so old. How would you orchestrate his return?
He'd come back and start some beef with Braun because Braun's been using the power bomb.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
And Sid's like, you want to see a real power bomb? Mm-hmm. Then he does it.
Okay. I'd love to see Keith Lee return to WWE. But as we know, he's under contract at AEW, probably until 2036, right? Mm-hmm. So this is what you do. You give him a mask so that he can do double duty. He's no longer Keith Lee. You can name him something like Lee Keith. And he comes in, same dude, bask in my power, glow in my power, something like that.
It's better.
Revel in my genius. And then you can have a mask on. And yeah, I think that's what you do. Or you just do what you did last time with him, Bearcat. And you give him like a bear/cat, like it's a split down the middle, like there's a bear on one side, a cat on the other side, mask for that, maybe some paws. And bask in my catness.
But he's also bear.
Yeah. And then, of course, the Good Brothers, I want them to come back just as good. Let me ask you this. The Good Brothers coming back. Do you want them to be the OC again? The OC?
No, give him like an actual decent name. AJ, give him a decent name.
What would that name be? What do you want them to be called?
Why can't the three of them be the Good Brothers?
Yeah, there are oftentimes, people who have two brothers.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, like brothers is not just, like twins. I think even twins can't. Oh, triplets is the thing. So twins is only two. Yeah, they're not the good twins.
Yeah.
They're the good brothers.
Good brothers.
They can have as many as you want.
Yeah.
A whole faction of dudes.
Yeah.
And then if a woman wants to join, you just figure that out. The good siblings.
White Brownie here says Billy Kay. That's a great answer.
Oh, that's an actual answer.
That's
a real answer. Yeah, that's good. What about 10? Ty Dillinger.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to see Sean Spears or Ty Dillinger back.
I wonder what Triple H actually thought about him, because it felt like he wanted to roll with him in NXT, but then like he didn't, and then Vince grabbed him because of the 10 chant, and then he did nothing with him. But I don't know. I think he did really good work in AEW, though.
I think so, too. I thought he did good work in NXT. At a certain point, he seemed almost poised to be champion. Like, they could have told that story really easily.
They could have. I don't think anybody would have liked it. But
I would have liked it.
Because he was like, He was like seemingly like a low mid-card guy who was just overachieving. Maggie says, do you think MOX'S exclusivity in his new contract is a sign of a shift in the landscape for the top stars in AEW?
Maybe. Yeah. And I guess from AEW's perspective, if they gave him, as I would think, I have no information, but I would think a significant raise, that's a pretty huge investment they're making in him. And in turn, I'm sure they would want to minimize the chance of him getting hurt in matches that don't happen in an AEW ring.
I think you're right. I think that the way Mox has proven himself to be such a valuable asset in every single way means that the veteran leadership in the locker room is now like an official title for him, basically. Mm-hmm. And so it's like if people get out of hand, they're going to have to answer to Mox. I think that seems to be what the case is here. I mean, we've heard that he's just a real stand-up guy. Yep. And I can't think of a better guy to have as a coach/mentor than Mox. And I think that they did the right thing. And yeah, they probably gave him that CM Punk money. They probably gave him a shit ton of money for, those 5 years. And he's got his truck. And I know he was like, how much money do you really need? Well, he's probably going to have a lot more now. So
he's going to have plenty.
He's going to have that problem on his hands. What a good problem to have.
Yeah. Jason Lewis wants us to power rank the Wyatt variant. So there's Bayou Bray, so the Wyatt family. Bray.
Sure. Yeah.
New face of Fear Bray when he was solo, so post Wyatt family.
Yeah.
The leader of World Bray, so when he was with Matt Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
Firefly Funhouse Bray, and then the Fiend.
Okay.
So I would probably go Wyatt family Bray number 1 because there was so much untapped potential there, but he still did a lot of cool stuff. I'd probably put him that version of Bray at 1.
Yeah.
And then I'd do Firefly Funhouse Bray 2, but it's close.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the delineation between Bayou Bray and the new Face of Fear Bray in terms of like the stories they were telling, because I feel like there were some really cool stories that they told with the Face of Fear when he was solo, and then they just sort of dropped the ball with it, which is kind of what they did with the Wyatt family too. So yeah. I'd probably actually go when he was a solo guy before the Fiend stuff, number 1. Then I'd do Bayou Bray because I thought there was a lot of cool stuff there. Yeah. And then Funhouse because that cinematic shit was really cool.
It was really good. So I would just have new Face of Fear, Bray solo 3rd, probably the Fiend 4, and then no disrespect to Matt Hardy, but Bray shouldn't have been in a tag team.
That never worked for me. It seemed like they wanted to do some really cool shit, and then they just couldn't. But they were so far away from doing anything with that it's like we can't even visualize like what they probably wanted to do. A bunch of cool cinematic stuff, and then they was like, no, we're not going to do any of that. But yeah, Matt Hardy sort of like his delete stuff was so like half comedy anyways. That I don't want to see that. But I did, they also forgot to mention the Bray Wyatt from the Edge and Christian show when he did that little skit. Oh God, he was funny. He was so fucking funny. Dissectum Rex says, now that you two own a wrestling company, what are the changes in the industry you would implement now given the chance? Well, there's a big difference between us being able to influence the industry and us owning our own small indie promotion here in Northern California. So in terms of changes we'd like to implement, would we love for wrestlers to unionize? Sure, just not the ones in our company. Because we couldn't afford any of that shit. Oh my God, now we know what it's like to be an owner.
Now we're on the management side of things, huh?
Yeah, healthcare. Ooh, I don't know about that. I'd like the large $1 million wrestling companies to implement really great stuff for their wrestlers, like unions and fucking healthcare and employee benefits, 401 stuff like that.
That would be great. The benefits that a lot of people already enjoy at their jobs.
Yeah.
It would be great if that was extended to professional wrestlers too. I agree.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Maggie's got it right. Healthcare.gov. Go there.
Yep. B-Man asks, what are your thoughts on the new IWGP World TV Championship? Did you see that, Steve?
Yeah. Yeah.
Another title.
It's just another title. Too many. It's a network title. It literally says New Japan World on it. Yep. It's in the shape of a TV. Yep. I don't know. I don't. It's just, what does it matter? Like a couple of low cards gonna fucking challenge for this shit. I don't know. Are you yay or nay? I was like, who cares?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, they arguably have too many titles as is.
Yeah. I
don't know if introducing another mid-card title is necessarily the answer.
Yeah, right.
If you're gonna bring any title, bring back the IWGP Intercontinental title and book it like you did, when it was almost on par with the heavyweight title.
Yeah, I don't know why they're doing this.
I'd find more exciting.
Like so some of these titles probably are not going to be defended at Wrestle Kingdom, although it's 2 nights. But
no, it's not. It's 1 night. It's 1 night this year.
Oh, it is?
Mm-hmm.
They dialed it back from 3 to 1. Yeah, I remember that now. So there's not going to be enough time on that thing for all the titles to be defended.
Well, unless it's like a 7-hour show.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh man, I don't know. They should have had a Rambo title and just had Ranbos. I love the Ranbos.
Tristan here asked, do you guys think they should have used White Rabbit the song during Bray's return? I felt it would have made the return even better, especially with how it was teased off air during various shows.
Yup. I do think so.
Yeah, it'd been pretty cool. I don't know if they wanted to pay the licensing fees for it though.
They're like a fucking $1 billion company. What's $100,000 to them for one cool moment.
Not a whole lot, but I don't know. Maybe they didn't want to do it.
That'd have been fucking rad. But yeah, probably. I imagine it probably establishes a precedent that they didn't want to set. That's probably a wildly expensive song to use, and to do it once
opens up the floodgates of everybody else asking, "Oh, I want this song."
Well, I was gonna say it more along the lines of you do it once at the pay-per-view, then you got to do it like then people expect it, and then it's not. You're not.
Well, they ponied up for Pat McAfee to have Seven Nation Army at WrestleMania or whatever.
Yeah, but he's not wrestling every week. Bray Wyatt's going to be wrestling all the time. Deal. Yeah,
and if they could have done it for the one-time deal when he came back, and then moved on to something else.
I agree. That's why I say it could have been awesome, but maybe maybe the thought was we're not going to do it unless we can do it on a weekly basis, and maybe that was the deal.
Deep voice dude here says, if Hunter Hearst Helmsley asked you to pick Brock Lesnar's opponent for Crown Jewel, who would you personally pick? Heel or face, doesn't matter.
Give him somebody smaller. I'd give him Finn Balor and have Finn win.
That'd be huge.
I'd do that. You could overbook it, have Judgment Day come in and do all sorts of shit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'd do that.
Yeah, that'd be huge for Finn.
The winner of the Fight Pit match. Matthew Riddle.
There you go. That's the answer.
That's the answer, isn't it? That's the answer. Right there. Yeah. Let's see here. This is a good one. White Brownie with Bianca single-handedly destroying Bailey, Io, and Dakota at Extreme Rules. Is damage control considered buried? Yep.
No. I would say no.
You got to be careful with that stuff, though, right? You got to be careful with that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Io and Dakota are still tag champs. I mean, they got destroyed at Extreme Rules, but that just kind of makes me feel like they're a near lock to win at War Games if that's the match.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I guess unless Sasha and Naomi come back, the team with Bianca, and if that's their first match back, they're not losing that, I guess. But
yeah,
outside of that happening, you'd think that Damage Control would get the win at War Games.
DJ Luke here has a question that I needed a little bit of clarification on. He said, and he gave it, so we're gonna ask it. He says, I was listening to your Extreme Rules recap, and you said you're not too upset that the Fiend maybe is gone as a character of Bray. He says, why is it hard to accept the Demon as a wrestling character as opposed to the horror movie type character the Fiend is, given they're kind of the same thing?
As in Finn Balor Demon, right?
As Finn Balor's Demon character, yeah.
I never really cared for Finn Balor's Demon either.
Right, but we didn't express the same reservation that we did with the Fiend in terms of he's a horror movie villain.
Yeah.
And you sort of it was awkward to try to shoehorn the conventions of a horror movie villain into a wrestling match. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And he's saying, well, what about the Demon? Now, granted, you were not a huge fan of the Demon. I wasn't. By the end, I was not a huge fan of the Demon. I do think there's a delineation there, though, in that the Demon was a version of a wrestler, Finn Balor, and that the Demon wasn't a character that was specifically made as a horror movie character, where the Fiend really sort of came off like that. It'd be like if you brought in RoboCop or to actually wrestle a match as opposed to just run away Sid. And so I think therein lies the delineation, is that the Fiend seemed to be crossing a certain line over into horror movie villain that just didn't really work all that well. I mean, was it cool when he snapped Finn Balor's neck in the ring? Yeah, that was cool. But it was like, okay, well then Finn got up and continue to wrestle the match.
I know.
And I think with the Demon, the one thing that I think you and I came around to was he didn't really wrestle all that different when he was the Demon. He didn't have a different moveset.
No.
And I think that would have been cooler. But the bottom line is it was just Finn Balor with some makeup on, and he upped the intensity a bit, I think was the idea. That was the idea. Whether or not he did it or not, maybe not. But I think that was the idea. It was like, hey, I step it up a bit when I'm the Demon, as opposed to Bray Wyatt, who was there to murder people.
Yeah.
And I think therein lies the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't disagree with that.
Mayor Planet Houston says, are you comfortable with AEW using the uncertainty of Saraya's medical clearance for storyline? I feel like if she was 100% good as new, WWE would have let her wrestle and she never would have left. So Mayor Planet Houston says, I'm not comfortable with the idea.
According to her, I just saw this. I didn't read the actual thing. That conversation never happened with WWE, as in seeing if she could or wanted to wrestle or something. Let me see if I can find the quote real quick.
Yeah, she said that they never got to that point in the conversation because they like released her and she didn't want to deal with that. I'll put it this way. I'm comfortable with them referencing her clearance because at the end of the day, she's going to be cleared if she's going to wrestle. And her lack of clearance was a real thing that was a question for people. So why not address it on TV? Why not turn it into a bit of a story? And she also said in that, I think it was in that same interview you're trying to find right now, that she's altering her style. She's going to be, you know, taking a different approach, which I'm still on the fence in terms of my own personal taste in wrestling. If somebody has to, I mean, I guess Stone Cold did the same thing. He had to change his style to more of a brawling style after his neck injury. So I guess there's precedent for it. It still makes me a bit nervous. I don't want to see somebody, you know, be paralyzed.
Oh, obviously, don't see anybody get hurt. Yeah.
So hopefully she is that level of clearance where, you know, she can, you know, be a brawler. They can mitigate it. And I hope to God that, you know, Tony Khan puts his foot down and says, hey, you know, I'm going to hold you to that shit. You're not going to do German suplexes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what she referenced here.
And, but I think even when she mentioned that, she was like, I'm not going to be doing 9 German suplexes in a row. It's like, I don't.
6. 6 was the number.
6, okay. I don't want to even see her really do one because a lot of the times in AEW, especially, they're really high angle.
You know, granted, not taking 6 German suplexes, but I don't know if anybody's really taking 6 German suplexes in any match because that's not good for your body. Nonetheless, if you know their medical team says, all right, your neck's good enough to go, you hope they did their due diligence and she's good enough to go, and that's the story they decide to kind of allude to. And but I don't think they would have done that if she had been given the green light to wrestle.
I'd feel a lot better if there was like multiple medical teams cleared her than just Dr. Sampson.
Yeah.
That's why I'm still going to be nervous.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's going to do it for us for questions today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later. Go check out this video here.
Yeah. See you later.